we're now going to start texturing and adding colour to our characters. Now before we start, as mentioned in the last episode, I did go away and I did decide to create some robotic like feet for my character. So what I'll do, I'll time-lapse the creation process. If anyone's interested in watching that, you're welcome to go back and have a look. I did manage to get them in the same sort of style as I did in the hands, so I think that's quite nice. Generally quite happy with how that turned out, so I'm going to keep going with this sort of style. Alright, adding colour. Now, like I said at the start of this tutorial series, I want this to be quite simple. So the way I'm going to do this is just by adding block colours to various faces along the model. The reason I do this is because when we actually put these into Unreal Engine, I think it's really good because it creates different materials for each colour set that's on our character, which means we can customise it and add to it and change it later on. So this is the direction I'm going to go with it. There's lots of different ways to do this, and this isn't obviously the only way to do it. It's completely up to you how you do this, but this is the way I'm going to do it for this particular case. Alright, so before we can even do this, we need to actually go to a mode where we can actually see the colour. Right now, if we added any colour to this model, we wouldn't be able to see any of it because we're in the wrong viewing mode. So at the top right, all the way up here, we need to go to Viewport Shading, which is just this third one in, which is like a spherical shape with blocks on it, squares on it. Here we go. So once you click on that, you can see that the character, your model, will go white, because that's the current colour that your model is. So let's add some colour to it. So you want to click on your model, and you want to go over to your right hand side. Now you can see I've got the modifier menu open currently. That's not the one we need right now. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to click on this one, which is Material Properties. It's this red ball, similar to the Viewport Shading. It's this red ball here. So I'm going to click on that. Now, for what I've got here, there's actually 2 material slots here. You may have 2, you may just have 1. Normally you just have 1, so I'm just going to do that. This is the current material. It's this white that you can see on my character. So if I change the base colour, you can see that's going to change the colour of the character. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this straight away. I'm going to call it Robot Primary Metal. There we go. It's important to name our materials because, like I said, when we go to Unreal, this is the name that the materials are going to have when it goes over. So if they've got appropriate names, it's much easier to manage in the long run. Now, I want this robot to be just a nice light grey. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to pull this down a little bit. And there we go, silver. Now, to me, that doesn't look very silver. I'm just going to put that back in the centre. It looks more grey, and it doesn't look very metal either. It doesn't look very metallic. So I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to turn the metallic property all the way up. And now it does. It looks much more metallic. There's lots of things you can play with down here. You can see all these options. You can change them. You can make it more rough, less rough. You can increase the specular. There's loads of things you can do there. I'm not going to go into it here though, because once we export this and bring it over to Unreal, the majority of these properties are going to be lost. So I'm just going to worry about the colour. I will add the metallic properties just so I can see how it looks. I can get a vision for how it's going to look in the end. But I know I'm going to lose that when it goes over to Unreal, so just be aware of that. Okay, I'm happy with that. Maybe a little bit lighter. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, and I want to add another material. I want to add another colour to this robot. So over here, again on my properties over here, my material properties, I'm going to click this plus, and that's going to add a new material slot. I'm going to click on new, and I'm going to call this Robot Secondary Metal. And this time I'm going to make this one a bit darker. So I'm going to pull this all the way down here. I'm going to make it metallic again. Now, the joints, I'm going to call them joints, they're not quite joints, the parts which are exposed, I suppose, the underneath mechanical parts of this robot, I want these to be dark. So to apply this colour, it's quite easy. I just go into edit mode, and I start selecting the faces which I want to be that colour. So let's go over here, let's start with the arms. I know I want all of these to be this dark colour. So I've held Alt and I've clicked on here. And I just go over to my material properties again, and while clicking on the material that I want it to be, I simply click Assign. And you can see then that assigns that colour to that set of faces. So let's go through here. So I know these I want to be dark, These should be dark. All the joints here. So it's just a tedious process now of going through and just selecting all the pieces which you want to be these colours. Now this can take a while, especially if you've got intricate little pieces which are hard to get to. That can take a while to apply all these colours to them. It's just part of the process though, unfortunately. So I'm going to keep going through, just going to keep adding these colours. I think I'll have these as well. Now if I had the mirror modifier still active, this would actually half my amount of work, so that's something to potentially consider. A bit at the back here. And there we go. There's those dark parts gone. I think maybe I'll get the housing for this. This part here, if I can grab it, there we go. And this could do with being that darker metal, lovely stuff. Originally I did picture all of this section here. Not sure why I've got this line down the middle there, I might have to have a quick look at that. I think that was just because my mirror modifier wasn't set correctly. There. Yeah, that middle section is definitely an issue. I'm gonna have to definitely fix that. Here we go. And the head's got the darkness on there. I think maybe this faceplate could do with a little bit of lightening. Lots to do here, I suppose. Let's have a look. I want this and this and this. All the metal, the dark metal. Lovely. So yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, I think the hands maybe. So there's lots of little parts I'm going to do here. Something to note here, and the reason why I quite like doing this. Say if I decided now that this metal I actually don't like that, because it's pulling it live from this material slot, we can change the colour of it, make it lighter, and it'll update in real time, which is really nice. Same with the properties, I can reduce the metallic, which I think I might do a little bit. There, that's quite nice. And that will update in real time as well. Let's have a look at this reactor. I think I want to do something quite nice and a bit different with this reactor. So I'm going to say, let's call this robot Reactor 1. And I want this to be this nice green colour. This nice glowing green. So let's grab all these pieces, as well as the insides. There we go. And I'm going to assign this. Now, like I said, I want these to be this nice glowing green. So, I think that's the kind of greeny bluey I like. And I'm just going to go down the bottom. Now again, I'm going to do this just so I can see how it's going to look. I'm definitely going to lose this glow in this emission when I export it, but it's nice to see it. So I'm going to quickly just change the emission. In fact, I'm going to get the hex code for that. Here we go. Put it in. And I'm going to tell it I want you to just emit that light. So now you can see that my robot's core, is this reactor, is glowing in the middle. I'm going to do the same for the eyes. Now if you've got any objects that aren't currently attached, so these eyes aren't currently joined to my body, you'll see that they haven't got any materials present. And that's because the materials for this body are local to that body. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to create a new material. What I can do though, I can click on this little drop down here, and I can link it to some of the materials from a different object. So that'll pull the same green for his eyes, which looks really nice actually. And they're still linked now. So if I change one of them, well, you can see that actually. If I change let's do the image thread, you can see that's changing them both at the same time. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to keep editing all these different parts of my character, and I'm going to start adding all these materials and get it to the point where I want it to look. There's nothing really new to be taught there, so I won't record this process and we can see how it looks after. And I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Just keep going through your model, get it coloured, get it to the point where you're happy with how it looks, and once it's there, once you've got all the materials ready, you're ready to move on to the next video.